you're going to meet parents wrestling with an agonizing decision. A pregnant mom and her husband learn their baby has a disease, and they opt for a cutting-edge but risky in utero surgery. What you're about to see may be tough to watch, but as my Nightline co-anchor Byron Pitts reports, both the process and the results are extraordinary.
Baby Luelle Ross may look like your typical one-year-old girl.
Whatever we've got, it's pajama time.
No sign of the long journey this has been for her family. Parents Shelley and Bobby Ross from Massachusetts. Before she was even born, Luelle was diagnosed with spina bifida, which occurs when the backbone and the spinal column do not form properly, leaving a gap or opening in the spine.
We remember the day we got the diagnosis that she had spina bifida, and we're waiting in the waiting room, waiting, and they come back and get us, and the doctor's on the phone and said, you know, there's some things we need to talk about.
The news was crushing. Left untreated, Luelle could be born with developmental problems, nerve damage, paralysis.
So we were terrified, and so they said your options are to terminate, to get the historical post-birth surgery for spina bifida, or there's this newer surgery that they'll do in utero that you could maybe qualify for it.
That new surgery, done while the baby is still inside her mother's womb, is documented in a new 3-part series airing this week on PBS titled Twice Born, Stories from the Special Delivery Unit. The documentary highlights the amazing work by doctors inside the Special Delivery Unit of the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, also known as CHOP. It's the painful and personal journey of 4 families from across the country, their 14-month emotional roller coaster ride.
She's beautiful.
As their unborn babies undergo life-threatening procedures to correct various birth defects. CHOP is one of only a few hospitals nationwide that perform fetal surgery. And of the roughly 4,000 fetal surgeries, about a quarter have taken place here inside CHOP.
And this kid looks good.
Dr. Scott Adzik is the surgeon-in-chief and one of the early advocates of fetal surgeries.
Clearly 30 years ago, folks thought we were just totally wacko nuts. And the thought of doing an operation before birth on a healthy pregnant mother was just wild.
And it's Dr. Adzik, still performing those life-altering surgeries, who takes his job to heart.
Personally, I try and put myself in the place of that parent for what I would want for my child. But if you put the family and the child up like this, and you do the very best you can for them in an honest way, then what they decide, I think, will be the right thing for them.
Probably going to have weakness at the hip.
Dr. Julie Moldenhauer is the director of CHOP's Special Delivery Unit and is often the bearer of difficult news.
It is really hard to tell parents the news that you know that they don't want to hear, and you know that you can imagine if you're sitting on the other end of that and you're receiving this information, what that blow is going to be. You can imagine it takes the breath out of a family.
We watched that pivotal moment unfold as Dr. Adzik and Dr. Moldenhauer lay out the risk for Shelley and Bobby and their baby Luelle.
Let's talk about potential complications. It's possible that we could do the operation and the baby could die during the operation. You could also deliver prematurely. If you delivered very prematurely in the first few days, we could lose the baby due to immature lungs. We're going to take great care of you. Include that assignment. And then we're going to meet with Dr. Tran.
Fetal surgery for spina bifida is possible between 5 to 6 months into a pregnancy.
It is an operation not only on the baby, who in a way has everything to gain, to have a better outcome, not a cure, mind you, but the mother, who's really a healthy, innocent bystander, has to undergo considerable risk.
It wasn't an easy decision for the Rosses to make, even when some doctors say medical abnormalities may be more easily fixed while the fetus is still developing.
For those who would say the success rate is so small, the expense and the risk are so high, why should anyone do this?
The reason why we chose to do it is because it did improve the outcome by 50%. So there was enough success for us to justify the gamble.
It's where you give Shelley peace and rest and do the same for the baby and just protect him, Lord, from any complications.
It's the day of the procedure.
Yeah.
Shelley is 23 and a half weeks pregnant. Her highly skilled team of specialists at CHOP are executing their careful plan. It's a risky procedure. If things go badly, Shelley could experience internal bleeding, or in the worst case, premature birth or death. While Shelley is under anesthesia, the team begins. First exposing the uterus and then locating the position of the baby with an ultrasound, trying to find the safest place to make the incision. The baby's back, now visible, is injected with a narcotic and muscle relaxant.
And that's just to make certain that the fetus is anesthetized, even though the mother is under deep general anesthesia, which anesthetizes the baby. We don't want the fetus stressed.
The hole in the baby's back can then be closed, preventing more damage to the spine. The surgery is a success.
Everything's fine, honey. Everything's fine. Yeah, everything's fine. Just get some rest, sweetheart.
The next 48 hours are really crucial. And we have to always have our guard up because we don't know what's going to happen completely.
But it's not over yet.
Here we go again, huh?
A few weeks later, during a routine follow-up, Shelley's ultrasound reveals new trouble, complications that could cause the baby to come early.
It's just that you need to stay.
I'm not comfortable with you not being here in case
Yeah.
something happens quickly.
Yeah.
8 months into her pregnancy, Shelley's admitted back into CHOP. They uproot their lives from Massachusetts to Philadelphia until the baby is born. 2 weeks later,
How you doing, Shelley? As Daddy-O gets here, we'll have a birthday party.
Yeah, please keep breathing.
the baby is born 6 pounds, 12 ounces.
Hi, beautiful.
Hey, baby.
You are a cutie.
You okay? So this is Luell.
Well, I love it.
You know that voice?
They name her Luell, which means a bright, shining light, a metaphor not so much for the past they endured, but rather the future they pray for.
The process was so hard because during the pregnancy, because I thought about her constantly because she was with me constantly. But I was terrified. I was so afraid of, still sometimes am, but I have a better perspective now, I think.
But for patients like Luell, it also means a lifetime of complications.
Luell.
I dread the day where she comes home and someone says something about how she walks. Because if she walks, she'll walk differently. It'll be interesting to see how she navigates that. And even right now, seeing her personality, she's going to be the type of person that will endure the worst life has to throw at her with a smile. Because she's endured a lot already. And yet, the moment I walk in the door, the moment she walks in the door, it's smiling and hi. And so she's already been a light.
A light powered by love, fueled by the explainable of science and the unexplainable of faith. For Nightline, I'm Byron Pitts in South Hamilton, Massachusetts.
Twice Born, stories from the Special Delivery Unit begins airing on PBS tomorrow night.